Now, this painting, for the most part, the elements are in. Now everything needs detail. So I'm going to start here with the road. Don't you love it? Yeah. I'm going to start here with the road. The light is definitely coming across like this. Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do a really misty barn, something that's a little bit pushed back into the distance, some large trees in the foreground. We're going to focus a lot on depth. It should be really interesting. If you're looking forward to seeing this and you'd like to see more, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more painting videos. All right, let's get started. Now, as you can see, I've already done a quick sketch. I've also put a little clear gel and white up there at the top. And so now we can drop in our not so crazy sky today. There's really not much to it. This is a very soft charcoal gray. I'm going to start here at the top and then I'll work downward. And when I hit that sketch, it'll mix a little with the green, and I don't care. That helps to create that misty background look. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Not much today. Really just enough to show it's not blank. Now I'm going back to the background area here to this tree. I'm going to place it in again. I completely wiped it out, but that's okay. Now when we put it in, we'll focus on the actual form. All I did was sketch it before. That's pretty decent. You can make it as misty as you want to. I think right about here is probably decent. Maybe a little sharper, but it gives us room to do more sharpness, you know, in the foreground. So maybe it's good to have this super blurry. There you go. Just filbert brush is all it takes. All right, there's my little paint color. Maybe a little black. It's a lot of littles. Oh yes. This is morning today, so I should really have no excuse. I should not be nearly as weird as I have been recently. There. I find it easier to paint in the morning. What do you guys think? I think my mind works better. There. We'll wipe all that off and just rub this in. So now we're going to create this little tree up here. I don't want this to be terribly, you know, all over the place, whatever you call that. I want it to be a little bit nice, neat. Not a lollipop, but close. That's careful. We gotta be careful. That's a scary place to go, isn't it? There. Well, the idea is, in my mind, this is a farm. This isn't a wild forest. So maybe it makes more sense. Maybe. All right. The light's coming across like this today. Not a super strong light, but there is some light. I don't know if we'll even highlight, but if we can just throw a little lighter color, maybe on the left side. It's not really a highlight, just a smushing of a little lighter color that might indicate a highlight without us having to go and do it. There, maybe leave a couple of those little branches there. I don't know. That looks pretty decent. Not a bad little tree. Maybe just there, just mush over that just a little good. Okay, because we are going to have, actually let's do it, this color is fine, let's do it with this color. We're going to have a little grass back here as well. It's actually going to fade away right there, because what we're going to do is get a little fence, I think, somewhere in there. I don't know, I haven't quite figured it all out. Maybe that pond needs to be a little bigger. I can do that later though. And then grab a slightly darker color and hit the left side here. This is, you know what? The light's going across like this. This side will be in shadow. It's going to make for a better effect, I think. That we can have shadows across the path of like the fence and the trees and stuff. Be really pretty. I changed my mind. See how you can change your mind as you go? Oh yeah. You're not locked in. You can change it so easy. Now I'm going to work on the barn. You can see I just spent a few minutes just slapping in some color. Really the same ways we've been doing. But now we get to start bringing out a little detail in the mist here. I don't want a whole lot, obviously, because that would take away from the overall feel, wouldn't it? I've got just I don't even know what you would call it, kind of a purpley gray. And I'm placing this in on, I've kind of flip-flopped a lot when it comes to doing the, you know, I can't decide whether the light's coming across like this or like this, and so far we haven't had to make any real choices. Still undecided. I kind of want it coming in like this to hit the face of the barn and then hit the left side of the tree. I think we might end up going with that. So I might highlight, I don't know. Hopefully that is encouraging to you guys, that you know what, you just don't have to have it planned out perfectly every time. You can mess around and still get a good result. So here's this and that, a little more of this. Wipe some of that off. Yeah, we should just get to painting. Slap this dark side in. And then maybe a couple of these little divider lines. They don't have to be perfect. This is an old rickety barn, so the less perfect they are, the better. And then this is all, we don't want it all purple. I'm going to go into my brown tones. Here's some brown umber, white, just anything to bring it out of the purples and into more of the warm browns. And we'll start working in the warm brown tones. All right, that's good. We'll just sort of detail this out, work on it, and add a little color to the roof probably. It's all the same stuff. Now I'm just dropping in a tree here. This is one that I planned to do the entire time. That's why I put so little effort into the back of the barn. You can see it doesn't even stop properly. It just kind of fades away to nothing, which is a little weird. So we'll cover that. That looks great. This painting is all about doing overlapping layers. Look at all those limbs I can get with my filbert brush. Because there's so little paint in the background, you actually have a little more freedom to get some of these in, even just using a light touch on the filbert brush. See that? If you had a lot of paint in the background, then this wouldn't show up. All right, that looks really decent, doesn't it? So at this point, I think I would just grab something maybe that we've already got mixed up. Maybe add a little purple to that. I don't know. Kind of hard to tell. It's actually, you know what I'm going to say, it's very, very hard to tell on the palette. Almost every time I've mixed up a color and put it on the canvas, I've not liked it and I've had to go back and remix. Because this is such a, when you're doing misty, anything that's misty, not just this painting, tiniest little tweaks make a huge difference. That looks pretty good. It's a little gray. I'm going to make it a little more green. Oh, there. So anyway, you can play around with that until you're happy. But once you're happy, then you just get all these little leaves in there. I'm going to just start by doing them with a filbert brush, and then I will end by doing them probably with a detail brush. Go a little bit slow around the barn, so that you don't cover up more than you wish you did. I think that's the right way to say that. Anyway, you know what I mean. That looks decent. Look at this, overlap that misty tree in the background. Good, oh yes. Extra bonus points there. A little bit thick here in the middle. So check this out. As you can see, I was in the middle of just throwing in another tree up here, just thinking, well, I'll frame out the painting. And then I stopped and ooh, let's go down here. Let's make a little pond. And so I did, and look, I like it. It came out good. And so, well, let's make this pond a little bigger. See, I've just been playing around. That's how you can do it sometimes. Sometimes that works out. I'm going to go back and I'm just going to continue to paint in this tree. But you see how popping around can sometimes make all the difference. Now, one huge important thing up here, I see this negative area. I got to keep all of that. I love it. That to me is just beautiful. This section, I don't want to lose any of that. So there you go. The other thing we need to do, if we go right over here, I need to just reestablish kind of some of the area I lost and push that pond in the background back. You know, maybe that's a puddle. Maybe it just rained. It certainly looked like it maybe just rained, so I don't know. It just depends. Good. And this tree kind of stops somewhere in those bushes. And you can see I had a reflection there because I actually pulled that water up. So that used to be tree trunk down there. There, I'm just finishing up, kind of darkening this foreground, adding a little texture. The fan brush is a good tool for that. You'll see that really makes a difference. Now, I was careful not to glop on too much paint, but I did want it darker, so I put on a little heavier amount of paint. All right, now, detail brush. Detail brush. I'd love to, let's just grab just a light color, one of our messy colors. Good enough. Now, this painting, for the most part, the elements are in. Now everything needs detail. So I'm going to start here with the road. Don't you love it? Yeah. I'm going to start here with the road. The light is definitely coming across like this. So what we'll do is we start right here and bring detail in on this road. We'll highlight some rocks and whatnot. Careful not to get any symmetry going, anything weird. And of course, just like any other path, but even more today, we want it smoother as you go back into the mist, and a little bit sharper, a little bit choppier as you move to the foreground, and then a little darker in the foreground as well. There you go. I don't care if we cover up those plants. They were just, there for darkness, for texture. There's that little divider, maybe put some grass in there. Doesn't really matter. These plants kind of grow over the road, so maybe not too much light on this side, just more in the middle, not so much on the right, if that makes any sense. But just, oh, there, get those beautiful little spots of light, maybe even a little more yellowy. I know the sun's not out, but we're gonna fake it. We're gonna get just a little beautiful light in here because I can't help it. We have to have it. There. That's pretty. So we'll just play around. I had a path there at one point, kind of lost it. It didn't really matter. Might just throw the remnants of a little path, a little worn out road back here of some kind. But I really don't care. It's not the big deal of the painting. Maybe that's probably even enough. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it really matches up or anything like that. This kind of just some dirt along this area right there. Maybe people get off and walk there. I don't know. Not bad. Now I'm just placing on thousands of leaves up here using the detail brush. This is really what creates that nice, just the feeling of shape in the tree. I started here with like a yellowy color. You see, I did kind of practice over there, getting my colors right, and then I came down. Believe it or not, this tree to me is more important than that one. This one's on the side. This one's really connected. See, this is actually touching the subject, and then down in here it's touching this, so you kind of have this compositional thing going on here. Very fancy. So I'm going to put probably a little more effort and just a little more care into this tree. Here's my palette, by the way, still a big mess. Nothing really has changed. Just grabbing a bunch of colors that are already laying around. And we're starting to, build up a lot of paint, so, these next leaves may go on they may go a little muddy, but that's okay. I hate to really use the word muddy, but what it is, it ends up just softening it, which is a good thing. Muddy is a really good thing some of the time. Otherwise, it comes out, looking really harsh, like an acrylic painting if you're not careful. One of the nice things about this is it does mix, and you get these variations automatically, which is really cool. But anyway, enough rambling about that. You see, I'm just using my little tiny comma strokes, big comma strokes over here, very tiny comma strokes over here. I like this blue. See how it's starting to cool this area down? We have warm and cool colors going on. The other thing I've been starting to do to my trees, I've been sprinkling some highlights on the right side as well, which looks like little leaves that are on the back of the tree or on the front of the tree that are just barely getting clipped with a little light. I kind of like that look. There. So just continue. Obviously up here is pretty low contrast, so we put more of these maybe in the tree and less of them. Normally you would go like right outside on that dark blue sky and they would just jump right out, but that's not the case today. But that's okay. That low contrast area helps to tell that story of mist, which is a good story to tell. You can tell we're getting very close to the end. All right, now we're just working here on these little grassy patches. That was kind of a bad lead in, but that's all right. There, see that? Just using the top of my brush, just the top few hairs, see that? To create a very ragged edge. That's kind of the secret to this, if there is one, is kind of that rough edge. It really is nice. And then of course as you go back, you go smaller. And then you go bigger as you go forward. Nice. What's fun about this is, you can kind of overdo it, and then you get back in here and you can put some more darks in. And usually it's pretty straightforward to go ahead and put your darks back in. They don't usually have any trouble going in. No issues with mud or anything usually. That looks pretty good. That's at least a foundation for for liner brush grass. Obviously this is not the complete look of it, but it's a good start. I see some dark there, so just stamp in some stuff just to cover, right? Cool. Now we're just going to move on down the road. There. looks really very decent, doesn't it? See that? You go back, it goes smaller and smaller. You can change the color a little, but I don't want to go too intense with color changes today. There. And then definitely a little bit right in here on this side. And that should pretty well set us up for liner brush grass. Oh yeah, and definitely get a little more of this highlight in the middle as well. Just brighten that area up. So now I'm going to go ahead and use the liner brush to just drop in all of this beautiful grass. This is what's going to really highlight the foreground. Because what we did there is I almost dropped my, you probably missed that. I was down here like completely dropped my liner brush, but like spun and I grabbed it, yeah. Anyway, the idea here is we want to just kind of create the feeling of, of the sun, whatever sun is available on this day, just hitting these blades of grass, but then not really getting down into the thicker areas too much. See what I mean? That's kind of the thought here. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that looks decent right there. And then of course we'll do our darker ones, which will help to push all of these back. And you want to do less and less probably as we go back into this area. Actually, just let the brush run out of paint, right? That would be definitely the easiest way to get that done. And then all of the stuff we did with our fan brush a minute ago, that sort of looks like just underbrush, doesn't it? Short grass, and just it helps to fill in, which is nice. But that is good. Maybe a little whiter. See, I actually put some fresh white paint out and I actually cleaned off a spot to work. Oh, there we go. Just a couple of hits of that really pretty bright sunlight right there. Not too much, or it loses its specialness. There. Good. All right, now let's just continue with the rest of the painting. Oh, this is going to be a lot of liner brush work. Now we're not finished yet because we have to highlight some of these things like the fence and the tree, but this grass won't get in the way of it. And I think that because this grass is really our highlight and the fan brush was the mid-tone, I think we need to have the grass in first so that we see how bright to make those trees. Otherwise, you'll be going back and doing those trees over again because you didn't get them bright enough, or you got them too bright. Nice. We'll just keep working on this for a little while. Now I'm going to place on the final highlight to the fence, actually with the liner brush. I placed on the first mid-tone with the, let me find it here, with the detail brush, and I decided, well, since the liner brush is already out, and since we've got all this thin color, maybe we'll just, highlight with it and see how it goes. And I like it. You'll see, you can see by my brush that it's not quite as thin as if I was going to do grass. It's thicker, so that I kind of get these little, I don't know, these little textures and bumps, and it kind of looks like tree bark, maybe a little right here. Actually, we'll probably do a similar effect on this tree right here. So sometimes the liner brush is the right tool for the job. It just depends on what job it is. That looks pretty decent. Not bad. And it kind of lets you pinpoint that left edge, since these are not the biggest fence posts in the world. That looks good though. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching.